Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to do a demonstration on how to test your .NET code for a specific platform. In this case, we're targeting Linux. For that, we're using the Windows subsystem for Linux. So here I have an example in this repo, and let's talk a little bit about it. So here I have this test solution, which is kind of like really simple solution, only execute one command. But there are a few things that are special about this setup. So let me show you what I did here. So first, let's check what I have running in here. Some of the things that you need on this case to understand what is happening is the login extension. So I'm using the login abstractions and the console login. So we can see in the console like the output of the process that we're executing. Beside that, I'm using an extension, this shell helper. This I got it from this website, and I've been using that a lot in other projects, and I always have to Google it and copy that extension to my project. So a special thanks to Jack Ma for the shell helper. It's an amazing extension, super simple. He shows in here how you should execute the interaction with the bash. So we're using the Linux bash in this case. So, okay, let's go back to the solution. So I have this helper here. So now the question is, okay, I'm going to run my .NET code, like library or project or whatever, in a Linux machine, or it can be actually a Mac, for example. But this case is actually Linux, what we're going to use. So how do I test my code? Do I compile it and then copy to a Linux machine and then run it? Well, no, that's kind of a difficult thing to do in general. Or also you can run it in a Ubuntu machine, for example, or a virtual machine, but those are like a lot of steps. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use the Windows subsystem for Linux to test our Linux specific code. In this case, the interaction with the OS through the bash. So we have this shell extension here. So, well, another thing that I want to highlight in here is that if we check the README, there is another person that I'm thanking, which is Stefan Sidland. He wrote this answer in Stack Overflow on how to use the WSL in a test project. So the first lines that he's showing here are how to install the WSL, but I already have it running, so there is no need to do that. The only thing that we need to do is to add this test environment.json to the solution root. And here, basically, you have to do a configuration of your environment. What you need in this parameter here is the name of your WSL installation. So let me show you how you get that. If you open a PowerShell console or whatever you use to interact with your OS, you can execute this command. In this case, I'm using PowerShell, so it's WSL list. This will show you the list of installations that you have in WSL. You can have several installations. You can have 2 different versions of Ubuntu, for example. In this case, I remove everything because I've been doing a lot of testing in the WSL environments. So I only have one. And as you can see, the name is Ubuntu 22.04. So that's the same name that we are using in here. Let me go to here. So this is what tells .NET, or Visual Studio to start that environment to execute the code that you're going to be executing. So after you do this, this will appear in here. Usually you don't see this dropdown, is invisible, but after you add this test environment.json, you will see the list of environments. And in here, it shows Ubuntu because that's the name that I set. But you can write any name as you, that you want. And now let's go to the test. In the test, I'm basically creating a logger factory. Then I get an instance of the logger, and I'm going to execute this command. This command should return the version of Ubuntu that I'm using. So I think I have it running in here. Yes, so let's run this command first. I think I didn't copy that. So let's copy this. And okay, so it's Ubuntu 22.04.1. And the name is, the code name is Yami. So let's run this and let's see what happens. So I have selected here the Ubuntu environment. Let's do this. Okay, so this execute without exception. We can see that the result, the value will be 0, which means that it actually executed. So let's do a quick watch. Okay, so 0. And then since we're using the book or the console logger, you can see here in the console, this is what happened. This is what we got in return from the command, which is the same that we got in here. So basically, with that, you can develop .NET code. With this example, you can develop .NET code that target Linux and like as a specific OS target. And you can use the TDD, for example, test-driven design, which I use a lot in my personal projects. So I think that this is like super useful in general, because otherwise you will have to develop in an Ubuntu machine. That actually I used to use an Ubuntu machine as my main OS, but since WSL is getting better and better every day, I used to have an Ubuntu machine running a Windows virtual machine. Now it's backwards. I'm running a Windows machine and I use Hyper-V to run some Ubuntu or Linux machines. But now I don't even use that anymore. I use WSL because it's almost the same as using a normal Linux distribution. So I hope you found this useful. I will put the link to the repo on the description of this video. And thanks for watching. See you on the next video.